Hey, this is Sean, and this is my journal, Adventure in Oil Trading, for Friday, January 25th, 2019. And it isn't Friday anymore, it's actually Sunday. And I still want to do my journal and keep my commitment. It was not only a tough day, but a tough week. And been really doing a lot of soul searching and figuring out where do I go from here and what do I do. I had another pretty big loss day at 30 ticks, and not just the 30 ticks, but again, just really lost my composure and my cool and my control on the day. Um, I mean, objectively, let's just go back and look at some of these results. We can say that, well, these last two trades, I increased my size, and I didn't do that on my first trade, but I did add size, and you can say, well, that's not a good sign for sure. That looks to me like you would say, well, that's trying to get it back. More so than that, trying to play for a large trade, and get not only the day's losses back, but trying to get something big going for the week, I think. And that's just what can you say? Anybody that knows anything about that long term, that's going to be a losing strategy. That's an amateur move, and it never works out well. And so I really spent a lot of time thinking about, well, what am I going to do here? I'm not ready to give up on this, and that would be ridiculous. And after starting so well and having one bad week, yeah, I should stop. I should take a break and a pause if I can't get back on track and get my discipline under control and follow my rules and trade with a calm, collected head. But to completely give up, that's pretty ridiculous, I think. So 0 wins on the day. I think it's my first week when that's happened. So I'm gonna get back, and I do want to go over kind of some what I've been facing. Pretty much the whole last week was it was fairly choppy. We can see we were stuck in this area. So, but still plenty of opportunities, and the trade wasn't necessarily my biggest challenge. It didn't help. Friday was a very, very choppy day. Very little range in there, and I was trying to again play for those bigger trades, and I need to spend, and I'm going to do that yet tonight, some time on looking back at my stats and saying I need to lock in some profit when the opportunity presents itself. Again, especially on these last 3 trades. I mean, over 60 ticks in favorable excursion here, and I took 6 ticks of a loss. That's not good. Obviously, that's not good. I mean, just to take at least 10 out on each of these, that would have put me, 30 ticks in a different direction. So that makes a big difference. And to be honest, trying to solidify my method and increase my confidence, because psychologically, with my history of trading and just where I'm at personally right now, I need to increase my confidence. And how do we do that? By reinforcing positive experience, positive emotional experience, and that needs to be done through wins, small wins. And as that continues to grow, then I will get more solid in my method. But I think I'm doing myself a little bit of a disservice to try to play out and wait, and it's partially a lot of greed as well, to not take some of the profit that is offered to me in the market. Because if I have weeks like this for very much longer, if I continue in this direction, I'll just blow up my account, and then there will be no trading. So that doesn't make much sense. So, capital preservation is always of utmost importance, and also with that in mind, I am still positive. However, but with all of the commissions, the week, it was definitely a big down. I think I'm down over about 90 ticks on the week, but overall I'm down now because of all of the commissions that are paid. But I don't think I'm going to go through much of any of these trades. Suffice it to say that coming into in the morning on Friday, it was we had this pretty considerable move in the overnight move down to come back and test and to kind of see into this pivot area. This was a major significant low that we see earlier on Thursday. Buyers stepped in, and when this was tested about before I got to the screen at about almost 5:45 in the morning, this was very sharply rejected, and then at that, it was just a very choppy, grindy day. So this is going to be a fairly short one, I think. I wish I would have probably taken the time and done it on Friday. I would have been a little more raw, and it would have been a little bit more fresh. But, I can remember saying just like revenge trading as well. It's like, this is it, this is going to be a big one, or I'm just going to blow it up. And you can see also as well here, even though I did have 22 ticks of favorable excursion on this last trade, especially 24, this was a 2 lot, so dividing this by 2, my max adverse was 12. So that wasn't a well-managed stop, and definitely outside of my plan as well. So as I generally will pass on any setups that have any stops, so I was not managing that well and shouldn't have likely have been in that trade in the beginning. But so I'm going to go back and look at a little bit more of my trade performance and see where we ended up. But overall for the week, you can see week ending here 125. I only had 7 wins. There's a big difference in my my average win was smaller this week. Average loss was a little bit higher, but you can see the winning percentage dropped dramatically. Very 61% loss percentage, and break even was pretty consistent. It was low, but the winning percentage is what really killed me on the week. And so that's easy to see. I'm glad to have these stats and these numbers. And overall, let's look at my account balance and my monthly. But you can see like this was almost a 12% drawdown just on the week. So that's not good. And so back to square one. But hopefully I can look at this as, how do I improve? This is well worth the money lost if I take this forward with me and learn the lessons that need to be learned from it. It's tuition happily paid if I learn some lessons and can grow from this. And because trying to keep the big picture in mind is difficult sometimes as well, because these little losses at this small size is completely insignificant if I can get this worked out, and one trade will be at decent size will more than make up for all of this. So that's what I think I need to also go back and see, can I grind it out a little more, take more profits when they're offered to me, and have a little bit more realistic expectations, and keep that in mind, and multiply those numbers by 10 or so for the size that I want to be trading in the short term, or that as quickly as possible time frame. And I think that's will serve me well to keep that in mind, because trying to get these large range expansion moves and these 100 tick days, it's cool, but hunting those elephants it's emotionally exhausting, and it's hard too, especially when you have days where you have considerable losses, when if you would have taken a lot of the profit that was offered, it would have dramatically changed the outcome of the day to either a break even or a profitable day. So let's leave it at that, but thank you, and see you tomorrow.